Welcome, baseball family. This week we have the stove warming again, Hall of Fame stuff, and 3 teams we hate right now.
9 Plus Us presents the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together.
Welcome, baseball family, to this week's episode of the Baseball Together podcast. I am Brad, and I'm here as usual with our guy, Brig. How are you today, Brig?
Happy.
Happy.
I'm
hanging
good.
in there.
I'm hanging in there.
I think we're both playing hurt today. I've had this ridiculous sore throat for like 3 days now.
Yeah.
But I'm here. I'm ready to steer, so let's weigh anchor and hoist the sails. Here we go, Brig. Are you ready to roll?
That was beautifully said. I
hope you're ready because I'm on meds and I'm ready to roll.
That's right.
But before we get too deep into things, let's talk about Chinook. One thing we like to ask our guests on our show is about their favorite sunflower seeds. Well, we have some favorites around here. My favorite is Hatch Chili. Brig. Yours, I'm assuming, is still Parmesan pepper.
Absolutely.
Forever and ever. Both are delicious seed flavors from Chinook Seedery. Because we love them so much, we reached out and have partnered with Chinook Seedery so you can get the best seeds at a discounted price. In addition to our favorite flavors, you can try their original jalapeno ranch, smokehouse barbecue, lemon pepper, cinnamon toast, which is so good. And of course, a dill pickle. Go to chinookseedery.com and use code BTPOD at checkout to get 10% off your order and support the show. Again, that is chinookseedery.com. Use code BTPOD at checkout and get 10% off your order. Get the best seeds ever. Not just saying that because they legit are.
They really are. Confirm.
Can confirm. That's a Texas size 10-4. Okay. We have a PSA for you. 58 days until opening day. That is less than 60, which is less than 2 months for those of you keeping track out there, all you actuaries. That's going to be here before we know it. We have what? Pitchers and catchers reporting 10 days and then 23 days from spring training games starting?
Right. 23 days from today.
And you know, Brig, today I was looking at my schedule during spring training because I am taking some days off to go to games. And I'm going to be going to more games this year than I have the rest of my life combined in spring training. Yeah.
That's bangarang, Rufio.
It's going to go down. Yeah, it is bangarang, Peter. You're right. Okay. So first things first, we have the stove is once again warming.
Sure enough.
For some people. For these guys, not so much. Cody Bellinger. Nothing. Blake Snell, one offer, turned it down. Jordan Montgomery, zilch. And Matt Chapman somehow has not garnered any interest either.
And if there's interest, it's not very loud.
Right. The thing is, though, these guys all have one thing in common. What is that, Brig?
They are Scotty B clients.
Scotty B clients. I don't think it's a coincidence.
Nope, it's not.
Because the asking price for Scotty B clients is always above market value. And if there is no market, there is no value. So somebody's just sitting on their hands, waiting it out until spring training is even more around the corner than it is at this moment.
Yep.
And I think that they're going to come out and they're going to be like, look, you've got no other offers. What else are you going to do? He's going to want to get into spring training ASAP.
Yep. Well, especially Jordan Montgomery. Pitchers and catchers report in 10 days. Dude, got like 10 days to figure it out. Like,
I know.
We can't be waiting around anymore.
Blake Snell, he's got to have a place to go.
That's right.
Right?
Oh, man, dude.
Yeah. It's bonkers. It is absolutely bananas that I don't think it's collusion. But like maybe
it could be. It could be. It's possible.
There is a chance. And
yeah.
But you know what though? I'm surprised that it's taken this long for it to happen, for teams to get together and be like, no, we're not going to play your game.
Right.
Because you are the problem.
Yeah.
We want your guy, but we don't want you.
Yeah.
And so hopefully what this will do is I would love if eventually guys are just like the players.
Yeah. They're
like the juice is not worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
To be with this guy because teams don't want to work with him. They'll work with me. Teams don't want to work with him. He doesn't have my best interest in mind. I'll go with somebody else who can get me paid.
Right.
Because anybody can get you paid.
For
if
sure.
you're good enough, anybody can get you paid. Look at Ohtani's contract. That was not a Scott Boras contract. Mike Trout, that was not a Scott Boras contract.
Right.
So you don't need him to get paid anymore.
Nope. But he did build his reputation in a time where you kind of did need Scotty B on your team.
Right. You did.
So the tables have turned. That's the thing now. It's
How
not
the
that it
turntables.
wasn't all. It's not always how the turntables have shifted, as they say at my house.
Oh.
They're rotated. I get office quotes wrong on purpose because it drives Marina insane. So I'll be like, that's what she thought. Anyway, the point is,
never mind. I'll tell you later. That'd be way too far off track. But anyway,
the point is, I think that the tables have turned, and Scotty B is now the problem. And I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, it's entirely plausible that teams are saying, like, well, don't care anymore. We're going to shut you out.
Yeah, and I'm here for it, 100%. Honestly,
too. Yeah.
Okay, but there have been other guys who have signed in the last week, have new homes. Hector Neris is out of the AL West. He signed a 1-year deal with the Cubs, 1 year, $9 million. Has a mutual option for 2025. Is that right? Did I see that right?
Yep.
Okay. Justin Turner, rumors link him to the Diamondbacks, Blue Jays, and Mets.
Until.
That's interesting.
Yeah. What I read was rumors linked him to Diamondbacks, Blue Jays, and Mets until they signed Jock Peterson, and then that seems to have edged out the Diamondbacks from that discussion.
Yeah, because they certainly don't need him if they have Jock Peterson.
Right. So that's kind of the distinction there. But as of right now, the rumors still kind of abound, and we don't know what has changed officially. No statements obviously have come out or anything. But...
Right. The Diamondbacks, we are officially not interested in Justin Turner since we have
they're not going to say that. They're not going to say that. Yeah, right. But we're sitting around waiting, and Jock Peterson signed a 1-year, $9.5 million deal with the D-backs, and that's going to change Justin Turner's
good prospect. For him, good for the D-backs, I think. I like that one.
Yeah, I think it's great. Get those pearls in Arizona. It's awesome.
That's right. Yeah. Aaron Hicks signed with the Anaheim Angels for the league minimum. That's fascinating. It's
you know why it's fascinating?
Angels are just like picking up the pieces, right?
They are. The Yankees are still paying him.
Oh, that's why he went for the league minimum.
That's right. He's still getting Yankees money. He got it last year in Baltimore. He's picking it up still, but that's why the league minimum. He's still getting Yankees money.
Good for him. Good for him.
That works out well for him.
Yeah. So tonight, actually, Monday night, there was a deal that went down. And I got to tell you, Brig, I've been on pins and needles all day long because some dude, I think it was for the Locked On Mariners podcast, he's like, apparently there's a deal going down. I don't have any details, but there's going to be something going down today. That was at like noon.
Yeah.
And I was like I didn't get like hardly anything done the rest of the day. I just had on my phone like refresh on X, refresh, nothing, refresh, and it's everybody just like, if it's Dylan Cease for Brandon Wu and Bryce Miller, this is such a trash deal, blah, blah, blah. Better get a bat and all this stuff. Then finally he's like, okay, everybody calm down. For my understanding is it's not with the White Sox. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, it's not Dylan Cease, it's not a pitcher for a pitcher. Okay, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, which you don't need to do, right?
No, there's no reason to do that. But what it did end up being was that the Mariners got Jorge Polanco,
dude,
and then the Twins got Andy DeScalfani, Justin Topa, and prospects Gabriel Gonzalez and Darren Bowen. Sweet.
That's what I said.
I'm pumped. It's like
cool.
DeScalfani didn't throw a single pitch for the Mariners. Justin Topa, he's all right.
Yeah.
Right. But you have to use him kind of sparingly. I feel like he gets tired fast.
He's good enough for government work, like we say.
That's right. Yeah, there you go. And then prospects Gabriel Gonzalez and Darren Bowen. I don't know those guys. They're not Jonathan Clase or Ryan Bliss. So you can send
Gabriel Gonzalez is like the lower quarter of MLB's top 100 prospects. He's in like the 75 and down or something, if I remember right.
Yeah, something like that. But the Mariners have so many other guys like higher in the
Yeah,
top, like 30,
yeah,
like Cole Young,
yes,
Class A, and Bliss, I believe, are all top 40.
yeah. So
So you got other
not
guys,
a
and
problem.
he's an outfielder. That outfield is pretty well set. So
That's
anyway,
even better.
I'm pretty pumped about this trade. I know that Polanco was not last year what he was in 2021, but he's only 30, so he could get back
You get a
potentially.
couple of years out of him for
Yeah,
sure, and some good
they
ones.
have him through
Yeah,
2025. He's a free agent
yeah.
2025, so a couple good years out of him. I'm happy with that. And then you bring in
Mhm.
Bliss, and he takes the spot. Maybe
That's
even
what this
next year.
placeholder. Yeah, exactly.
Good,
But
solid placeholder.
a real, yeah, not a bad one at all. No, it's
Yep.
good.
Yeah, I'm happy about it.
Can I be excited about this next one for us?
Yeah, take it away, Brig.
Listen, I'm so excited to talk about the Detroit Tigers because I have had a sneaking suspicion that something fun was happening in Detroit, starting about five months ago, maybe midway through last season. I started looking at them and thinking, there's more going on there than just Miggy retiring and getting all his records set. Turns out I'm not the only one feeling this way. The Detroit Tigers have signed Colt Keith to a 6-year contract. The reason this is interesting is because very few people outside of the Tigers organization know who Colt Keith is. He hasn't even made his MLB debut yet. Okay. That's a big deal. They signed this guy who's spent some time in AAA last year and additional time in AA last year. They're like, dude's a phenom. So we're going to sign him. He's an infielder. He's the Tigers' number 2 prospect. He's 22 overall in MLB prospects. And they signed him. They're like, whatever, you're getting a deal. It's 6 years, $28.6 million. There's a $2 million signing bonus. There's some escalations, various options in his contract that bring it to a potential 9-year, $82 million deal, which would be amazing for everyone involved. Super duh if he's worth it.
Right.
That's yeah.
If he turns out to be the guy they think he is, this is an absolute steal.
Oh yeah. This is
Like
no.
this is way more of a steal than the Braves are getting on Acuna right now. Like
Oh, for sure. And that is banana steel.
it's bananas. Like it's so crazy to me. It's like they went to this kid and they're like, "You want to make a few extra bucks?"
Yeah.
Sign this deal. He's like, "Oh, that's a lot of money." It sure is. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
but this is the thing too, is this is a 6-year deal, right? So that gets
Yeah.
him through his
Through
first 3 years,
arbitration.
gets
Yeah.
him through his arbitration years. He
That's
doesn't have
right.
to worry about any of that stuff.
Nope.
And this is the thing. This is the thing that always blows my mind too, right? It's like we're saying this is a steal. Brig, I would do so much to make that kind of money.
Oh,
in a year,
yeah, of course.
like that $2 million signing bonus. I'm good, man.
Yeah, yeah. Here's why it's a steal for those of you who maybe aren't as familiar. If you're new to baseball and you don't know how contracts work or whatever, this is how I look at it. Okay, this is my thing, right? I boil it all the way down to like what's going on at the lowest level. The team, if he works out, it's a killer deal for the team. If he doesn't work out, it's not that expensive for the team. And
4.76 million AAV.
that's not bad. If it
No.
doesn't work out for this kid, it's a great deal for him still. And if it does work out, it's still a great deal for him because it pushes him through all the arbitration garbage and he still has options and there's more money involved. There's no way either team loses. I would love to see more contracts structured this way where the ownership and the player can agree and be like, let's do this, man. Let's spin this wheel and see what happens.
Right. So the Mariners did this with Evan White. He was supposed to be the
Mhm.
first baseman of the future.
Yeah.
But man, that poor guy, like he won a Gold Glove in the COVID season as a rookie.
Yeah.
But he has not been healthy since then. He just hasn't been able to stay on the field. He's been getting paid though because he signed this deal before he made his debut. So
Yeah.
he's set up, and the Mariners are like, we have this dead money, right? But at the same time, it's really not that much in the grand scheme
Right.
of things.
Mm-mm.
So he wins. They were winning because they were getting a Gold Glove first baseman on a bargain. But now it's like, okay, it's just kind of there. But if he does get back and get healthy, it's like they've had to account for that depth. So now it's like he's gravy,
Oh
right?
yeah.
If he comes back and gets healthy, like that's great. But
Even if he comes back and gets healthy and they trade him away, the assumptive costs are minimal.
yeah,
So
this
it
is
benefits everybody in the trade situation.
I think this is fantastic for Colt Keith. He's set up. He doesn't have to worry about anything, like you said, going into arbitration because there are some guys the relationship with their team gets damaged during arbitration. He doesn't have to worry about any of that.
Nope. In 2023 in minor league baseball, again, he went from AA to AAA last season. He hit 306, 38 doubles, 27 homers, 101 RBIs. He had a 320. That's a 932 OPS. Sorry, I got a typo in there. And at one day, he hit for the cycle, going 6 for 6, 2 homers, 7 RBI games. That was at a AA level. Let's give him that. But still, a cycle is nothing to bat your eyes at. And I think it's cool. 6 for 6, 2 homers, and 7 RBIs. At any level, that's fantastic day.
Yeah, and so he's 22. So by the time this contract ends, he'll be 28, 29 at the earliest, and then you add 3 more years potentially on there. He's into his early 30s. I think is there an option in there after the 6th year?
There
What
is.
that is. So if he lives up to this deal, I'm sure he'll opt out and go get more money, and possibly from the Tigers, depending on how things
Right.
go.
I hope
But,
so. Yeah.
but no, he's
Dude,
yeah.
baseball family, I'm into long-term deals. I love deals where hometown hero status is established. That's like my thing, right? I want old school deals like that. I want guys staying in the same place for a really long time and living up to the dream. So, yeah, that's my thing. This was exciting for me.
Sweet. Since we were talking about arbitration, let's jump there real quick.
Oh, okay. Good idea.
Let's talk about our arbitration notable. So there were 18 players scheduled for arbitration hearings from any time from today that this episode drops through February the 16th. So these players are they call it going into the room. The players are gonna go with their agent, and the team they're gonna sit on both sides of the table. And apparently, like David Sampson talks sometimes about how he and players used to get in trouble because they'd be sitting texting across the table from each other, giggling at their text messages, like "Put your phone down. This is serious."
with the 3-panel sort of arbiters in there trying to be the third-party mediators. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So they're going to go into the room and they're going to present their cases, and then the arbitrators will say, tap, tap, tap of the gavel. We rule in favor of the player, or we rule in favor of the team. Like we said before, there's no compromise. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
So here are some notables. We have 5 guys who are up for arbitration. They'll be going in, or are going into arbitration with their teams. Vlad Guerrero Jr. will be going with the Blue Jays. He's asking for $19.9 million. They're offering $18.05 million. That's a pretty big gap.
Yeah, it's a big gap.
That's a big spread. Jonathan India with the Reds is going in. He's asking $4 million. They offered him 3.2. Now it's funny because 0.8 million is not like a grand scheme, right? Like as far as these amounts go, not a bunch of money. Because I think if Vlad and the Blue Jays were 0.8 apart, they probably would have figured it out.
Yeah, they're like whatever.
Right, but because he's only asking for 4 million, they're like, but 3.2, that's considerably less. Right. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if India gets his 4 million.
I was gonna say I wouldn't be either. And that honestly, that's where I hope happens with Jonathan.
He should, yeah. Luis Arias is asking for 12 million. The Marlins offered him 10.6 million. I'm surprised they're not going to give it to him.
The only reason this is happening is because it's Miami. That's the only reason.
It's gotta be.
Any other team, well, except maybe Tampa. Any other team would be like, yes, you could have whatever you ask for.
Right. And this next one is even worse, Brig. Jazz Chisholm with the Marlins. Jazz Chisholm Jr. is asking 2.9 million. The Marlins offered 2.6, and they can't agree. They're 0.3 apart. What are you doing, fellas?
It's $300,000. It's like, come on, man. Give me a couple of hot dogs and let me wear my fun cleats. That's all I need.
No kidding. Man.
So unreal. Bad. This just makes Miami look even worse. It makes you wonder what's going on culturally. I don't know. And with all the front office shifting that's been going on, it's just not a good look It's not a good look. And if you're poisoning the water hole with two of your most marketable players, that's not good
your two
either.
best players. Let's just say it, your two best players.
Correct. But they're selling merch and they're putting butts in seats and they're getting eyeballs on TV. Those are the guys that are doing it, right? So from a marketing perspective, that's all they care about in this negotiation. And these are your two most marketable players.
What's that? That's 1.7 million between the two of them.
It's 1 stupid million is what it is.
You're right. Yep. And this one is kind of funny too. Alec Boehm and the Phillies. Boehm is asking 4 million, and the Phillies offered him 3.4 million. Come on now.
That dude's
Really?
$4 million good for sure.
Yeah.
And
I think he's coming in a little low. Honestly,
yeah, I think so too.
He was trying to avoid arbitration.
I think he was. That's exactly what I was thinking. It was like, he's like, I'm doing y'all a favor and y'all undercut me. Are you kidding me, dude?
Seriously, it is unreal.
Man, what is Philly thinking?
Well, and the amount of love that the fan base has for him is worth $0.6 million. It's worth $600,000 too.
100%.
I'm sure that the fans would like line up and take donations, right? Like if the team was like, we would really want to avoid arbitration, but we're capping a 3.4. Can the fans make up the difference? 600,000 people come and put $1 in front of Citizen Bank.
That's right.
To maintain the relationship with Alex Boehm. I guarantee you.
I totally agree. So there are 18 players that are scheduled for arbitration. It's kind of a big, intense list. But that'll happen from today when the episode's live all the way to February 16th. These are just some of the highlights that we noticed. So crazy.
Brig, will you put up that spring training banner real quick?
You know it.
So spring training hats have not dropped, but they've been leaked. So UniWatch actually had a little bit on it because they found some hats on a Canadian, I want to say it was a Canadian Fanatic site, something like that.
So, yeah, something like that.
There was like 6 or 8 of them.
Saw the Mariners.
Yeah. Oh, dude, just take my money today. This is what.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to put this up because it is fan-friggin-tastic. It looks so good. And I cannot wait for them to officially release because I will be buying one like the day that it comes out. But once they officially release, we're going to go through. We'll do a whole episode on them and highlight our favorites, the ones that are just trash, and go through the look for them because man, they so far like that Cubs one is hot as well.
Oh, it's baby blue and it's just it's gorgeous. I totally agree.
It's a sweet hat. I am excited.
Yeah.
But like I said, we'll get back to those. Okay. So speaking of uniform stuff now.
Got some uniform stuff.
The Nats, first off, have made some changes. No longer Walgreens on the uniform break. Spoilers. No longer Walgreens. So here's a quick look at what we've got going on. So if you're looking at the screen here, the one on the left, that is a pullover jersey. That is right. That is a V-neck pullover. It has their block letter the block letter W in front of the nation's Capitol building. They're on the left breast. It has the navy blue short sleeves, and it has. I'm just going to go to the close up here. It's got what is that piping around the edges?
Yeah,
it's red, white, and blue around the neck, and then on the sleeves as well. And what are your initial thoughts on this Brig? What's your initial takeaway of this pullover?
I am so excited that there's a V-neck pullover going back to a mainstream home uniform.
Yeah, man.
That's my initial excited thought. I think these are really clean. I really like them. I think they're a little busy, but they're going to look really good on the field. I think I love everything about them. I also think these will sell better, which is, again, something you just have to consider. I think these will be more comfortable and they're going to sell better and stuff like that. So
that's one of the things is about selling. So, like, do you remember a few years ago? It might have been like 10 years ago, but the NBA did T-shirt jerseys, like on-court T-shirt jerseys, and the point behind them was specifically to sell them to fans because they're like, who really enjoys sitting next to a sweaty guy wearing a tank top jersey in the stands?
for sure nobody.
right?
100% nobody.
So I think this is a big marketability thing
Yep.
that kind of along the same lines that it's a little bit more comfortable wear, a little bit easier to wear a pullover like that. I think you're right.
Yep.
Now they do have a new button down. You want to tell people about this one, Brig?
There is a button down, which means it has buttons that go all the way up and down. That's how it gets its name. They've gone with the Washington typeface all the way across the front in a curved. It's got an arc. We got the red numbers on the left breast lower, but the Washington.
I wonder if they did that so there's no more Nationals mess ups. You know,
right? Yeah. So it now says Washington, which is common. The away grays, the road grays have the city name on them. So, but it's in block lettering, and there's that dark. Is it a dark navy? I assume it's a dark navy, and it's got white inside, and then it's an additional outline in red. So that's a totally different change. It matches up with what you see along the cuff and collar, which is red, white, and that dark navy as well. And then they've left the Walgreens logo on the left sleeve. I'm sure that will rotate left and right depending on the sponsorship that they, are dealing with.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So there you go.
So with that lettering across the chest, how it's like the navy blue lettering, and then it's got the white, like the white fill in, and then it's got the red on the outside. The Mariners did a few years ago. They changed it because theirs was navy letters, and then it was teal, and then silver on the outside. And then they switched it. They put silver on the inside with teal on the outside, and it makes it pop a whole lot more. So I'm sure that's why they did this here as well with the red on the outside, so the lettering pops more with the white.
Yeah, that makes good sense. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I like it. I think it looks good. I think it's a good change. Not so much Walgreens on this uniform.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm here for
it's
it
sharp.
all the way.
Yeah. And I want more pullovers.
Oh, I do too. Love them.
The Marlins made some changes, some small changes. So this is what's new. It's that middle one, the Miami blue Marlins jersey, and then their black alternate as well. They've made changes too. So this is what they used to have. This is what they had in 2023. The Miami blue just had the M logo with the Marlin on it on the left breast. And now you can see this picture that they actually have Marlins spelled out in black lettering with I'm assuming they're like that like red color, that Caliente red, right?
Yeah.
With probably a little bit of blue. Anyway, and then their black jersey last year, it had Marlins. It was black on black, really, with blue and red. And this year it is white on black, and it looks really, really sharp, really clean.
Right. It totally is the right answer.
It is a good look. Don't get me wrong, I like the black on black, but this is really sharper. That white pops so strong. Yeah. And then real quick, this is a sad day, in my opinion. The Rockies will not be bringing back their sleeveless vest jerseys for the 2024 season. That is an absolute crying shame. That's going to be the last. There will be no more sleeveless vest jerseys in Major League Baseball. Zero.
It's a whole thing, man.
And the other thing too, Brig, I forgot this while I'm talking about the Nats too. The Nats are retiring their City Connects already after the 2024 season.
Yeah.
No more cherry blossoms. I don't understand. I liked that one. I thought it looked good. On the field, it looks sharp. Too. And I've seen people around town wearing those jerseys and stuff. I'm like, man, that looks really good in person.
They're really clean. I like them a lot. Yeah, I like them a lot.
But yeah, they're going away. I don't know. I don't understand it. I bet Nike's like, what the? We spent so much time on those.
Well, and they're one of the best ones. Like,
yeah, they are.
And one of the first ones, too. It's just kind of interesting. Okay, I got to talk about the Yankees. They're finally making another uniform change. So a lot of people are like,
the first time in 75 years?
Huh?
Is this the first time in like 75 years, something like that?
No. And here's the thing. That's what so many people think. They're making a very subtle shift, but that's whenever they make a shift, it's subtle. The Star Insurance logo or whatever on the sleeve is the biggest one in a billion years, but it's not the only one. There used to be a shiny batting helmets used to be glossy for the road games, and then they went to a matte finish, and that was technically a uniform change. So there are all these things that have happened, right? What what we've seen for a very long time is this as the Yankees road gray uniform. You'll see it says New York in block in an arch across the chest, New in York, and then they've got the deep navy outlined in white. What they're going to, according to UniWatch, is this. They're taking away the white piping from around the New York and from around the numbers on the back. So we'll be left with a gray road uniform with just the block blue. What do you think, Brad?
I think it's going to look really good, just the basic, because that's what the Twins have on their gray alternate.
Yeah.
Right? Or no, their cream alternate. It's just the letters. No
It's
piping,
just the letters.
nothing around it. It's very minimalistic and looks really sharp.
This goes all the way back for me, and the reason UniWatch has the number 5 on there is that it goes back to the days of yore. And I know Yankees fans are all hot and bothered about right. They're all hot and bothered about the white piping going away. And there are two camps. Some love it, some hate it. A lot of people who hate it are getting really loud right now. Some people are saying it's a call for spending and whatever. It's just another gimmick. But I'm here for it. I'm old school. I like old school aesthetics. I will immediately be buying retro road grays. And that's what this is to me, and it's awesome. So the purist in me is very happy.
I think it looks sharp. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I think it's funny when people get all bent out of shape. It's like, it's just to get you to spend more money. It's like, yeah, that's the reason they have food at the games too.
Right. Actually, the whole thing.
Hungry.
The entire institution is getting you to spend money.
They have beer and hot dogs there to get you to spend money. And
spoiler
alert, it works.
Yeah. So. And the more beer you drink, the more you spend. So it's really Copernicus. Come on.
Exactly right.
Anyway,
with that, let's take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about Hall of Fame voting.
Baseball family, welcome back. We are going to talk about Hall of Fame voting for this year and next. But before we do, a couple of public service announcements. The first is that even though it's a baseball show, the Super Bowl is right around the corner. So whether you're preparing for the Super Bowl or you're preparing for spring training coming up, we have a partnership with Fanatics where you can follow the link and get hooked up with all your stuff that you want to buy off of Fanatics anyway. And it directly supports the show by doing so. So if that's where you're going to buy your stuff, we would appreciate it if you wanted to hit that link and buy it through us, because that's one way to support the show. Another way to support the show is by going to Patreon. We have 5 tiers of support that are available. We have $1, $5, $10, $15, and a $500 support tier. The $500 support tier is my favorite. There's something that obviously, but there's something I really want to do. Okay, so if you're looking to get married, you got to go check out our $500 tier.
It's an exclusive Brig experience.
You'll never have another one like it, I swear, and it will be so totally awesome. I promise. I'll do everything I can to make it awesome for you, if you so choose. Or let's prank your buddy or whatever. We're going to do it. It's going to be great. But that's on patreon.com. It's one of the best ways to support the show. And we love our patrons. We call them rooters, so we'd love for you to be a rooter with us. All right, Brad, let's get into Hall of Fame voting. Here's what happened. We have seen now Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, and Joe Mauer all make it into the Hall of Fame. That is this year's class, and it's very exciting.
It is. So how do you feel about only 3 guys getting in, Brig?
I'm all about small classes, always.
Right.
I'm a huge fan.
So is there a problem with the Hall of Fame being exclusive? I saw an article this week. This is why I asked this. Somebody said the Hall of Fame is getting too exclusive. Like it was a bad thing. Do you think that's a bad thing, or is it like...
No, that's the point.
That was what I said. I read that. I was like, isn't that kind of how it works? You can't just let anybody into the Hall of Fame.
No, right? And I think, if anything, things have gotten a little loose, if anything, as time has gone by. I'm not saying I don't know,
because we still have, every once in a while, we still have a year where there's nobody.
Right, and I love that too. Totally love that. I just think that maybe I'm projecting into the future. Maybe I'm sitting here thinking, oh no, I wonder what's going to happen. And will it get loose? Where's the Baseball Writers Association of America class? I want to see the PowerPoint presentation that says, okay, now listen. Where's the fear of God presentation so that they don't screw this up? Like, there's got to be one, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
There should be. If there's not, okay.
There might not
so
be.
if you're in that club, we want to know, because we're not voters. So we should be. We should be voters
someday.
Okay, Brad, Adrian Beltre, super duh, right?
Yeah, we knew like right away he was getting in.
Do you want to just run down some things with him really quick? Because obviously in the Hall of Fame, career WAR 93.5, lifetime batting average 286, 477 home runs, super duh. He has 3,000 hits. Like, those are just.
He's also a personality Hall of Famer too.
Totally.
Like he was a first team personality guy every single year. Between him and Felix Hernandez and their bromance, like,
right. Yes.
It's like Valentine's Day and just a random day in August. MLB's Twitter or Instagram will be like, you know what you need today? You need Adrian Beltre and Felix Hernandez in your life. So here you go. And everybody loves it. It gets like a bajillion views and a bajillion more likes because everybody's like, yeah, I do need that. It's positivity and I love it.
Yeah. 4-time All-Star, top 5 MVP voting twice, Silver Sluggers and Gold Gloves. You know, the guy's just the man.
Yeah.
So super duh.
Absolutely. You know, Dan Patrick called him a compiler because he played for so long.
He did.
I don't feel like that's accurate because he did not have good years in Seattle.
Right.
He was a good player, but not Hall of Fame years. The fact that he was a Hall of Famer, he had Hall of Fame years in maybe LA, but definitely Boston, Texas. And most certainly in Texas.
Yeah, exactly. In Texas, for sure. Yeah. We only spent 1 year in Boston. He was in Texas for 8, LA for 7, Seattle for 5. Total of 21 years, which shouldn't get you in the Hall of Fame just because you played for so long. Like, and that's what that's the argument that he's making, right?
Is that just because he played 21 years again? And there are guys who play 20 years in the league and don't get in.
Right, exactly.
There are guys who play 20 years in the league every single day and don't get in.
Yep. So that can't be the reason.
I don't think he's a compiler.
No. Let's talk about a guy like Todd Helton. In fact, let's talk about Todd Helton.
Okay.
Todd Helton, 17 years. He was also an All-Star select. Looks like 5 All-Star selections. Rookie of the Year, number 2 in Rookie of the Year voting. He was top 5 MVP, voted 1-time Gold Gloves and Silver Sluggers throughout, kind of peppered throughout his career. Career WAR 61.8. Batting average lifetime 316, 369 home runs, and he hit 2,519 hits overall. Let's see, what is his career OPS? I didn't look at that. 953. Okay. So he had 1 year in 2000 where it was 1.162. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing: is a lot of people are like, well, Helton benefited from playing in Colorado, and maybe he did. I don't know. It's weird because sometimes it's like it feels like Coors maybe makes that big of a difference, but how much of it is mental?
There's a lot to be said about that, and the more times we have, like when we've had mental skills coaches on the show, we've done interviews with them, and the more we learn about the mental side of this game, the more apparent it becomes. Just enormous, big. It's a huge deal,
right?
And it's not easy.
I know, and I don't know. It's hard because I think Todd Helton absolutely deserved to be in.
Yeah,
great player he was steady the entire time.
He really was, yeah,
and steady and solid. Did he benefit from Colorado? Like I said, maybe the mental thing, maybe. I don't know. But I don't know. It's just, I've said before that I wanted him to get in. I'm glad that he finally did. And I just kind of want to all right, let's move on.
For sure. Like, finally it happened. Okay, we can all be done. But I will say that of all the guys, stats aside, I like this. This is wonderful. Happy news.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Joe Mauer. This is the one that everyone is kind of, I don't know, kind of
Been
feeling
out of
a
shape
little.
about, right?
They're bent out of shape. They really are. Let's talk about this. So he was catcher and first baseman, right? He 55.2 WAR, lifetime batting average 306, 143 career home runs, 2,123 hits total. His career OPS, of course, he only played 15 seasons, and I shouldn't say only lightly. His career OPS is at 827. He's all-star selection, looks like 6 times. Silver Sluggers and Gold Gloves. He was the MVP in 2009. Otherwise, he never finished more than in the top 5 ever again. His 2009 MVP year, he led the league in average, on base, slugging, OPS, and OPS plus. But that was one season. What do you think, Brad? What do you think about Joe Mauer?
I'm kind of biased. I was a big Joe Mauer fan.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot. I did see a stat though. So he won the batting title 3 times.
Yeah.
As a catcher. Can you
That's
name
where
me
I'm
one other catcher who's ever won a batting title? You can't, because there isn't.
I was going to say there's no way.
There's none. And he did it 3 times. Like I said, as a catcher, not as a first baseman.
Sure. Right.
So that's like a big thing, right? That I don't want to say he transformed the position into like offensive catchers, right? Because they've always kind of been around to some degree, right? Like Mike Piazza was an offensive catcher.
That's the only name. When you said who else won a batting title, I was like, if it's not Mike Piazza, it's nobody.
Right. It was 2006, 2008, and 2009. He won batting titles. Hit 347, 328, and 365. Hello.
It's a killer.
And I know you can't get into the Hall of Fame on 3 good years.
You shouldn't be able to, for sure.
But I don't know. He was like, the dude's 6'5". He was one of the first like big catchers, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they brought in. And I don't know, to say that he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, and it's one of those things, like I go back to Kurt Schilling sometimes too, where he's like, if you're not a first ballot Hall of Famer, you're not a Hall of Famer, period.
Yeah. Well, Kurt Schilling, though.
Well, he has some opinions. We won't get there.
He does.
But that one, I think, is like, he's kind of on to something. Like, I understand his thinking of like, you just get one shot, and if you get in, you get in. If not, then move on. You know, but unfortunately, the writers can't change their mindset to be like, yeah, I'll vote for this guy because he's, no, he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. No, he's not unanimous. I'll make sure that he's not, right?
Let's get into that, okay? Let's get into that. Billy Wagner heads into so this next class is very interesting. Billy Wagner heads into his last year on the ballot, and he got 73.8% of the votes this year.
He was teetering at 75 with like a couple hours left.
Yeah, wow. Andrew Jones heads into his 8th year on the ballot, got 61.6% of the votes. Pause, timeout. If Andrew Jones doesn't make it into the Hall of Fame, something is terribly wrong.
I agree. I've been saying that.
Yeah, the end. Okay. All right, now who's on next year's ballot? Ichiro, CC Sabathia, Dustin Pedroia, Ian Kinsler, Felix Hernandez, Troy Tulowitzki, Ben Zobrist, Curtis Granderson, Ben Zobrist in his black cleats. We got to make sure that happens. Curtis Granderson, Hanley Ramirez, Russell Martin, Adam Jones, Brian McCann, Martin Prado, Carlos Gonzalez, Melky Cabrera, Clay Buchholz, Francisco Liriano, Ian Desmond, Jason Vargas, Kendrys Morales, Mark Trumbo, Fernando Rodney, and Mark Reynolds. That's a big old fat list.
It is a big old fat list. So I have some thoughts. Before we get into like the super obvious, like, first off, I think Brian McCann belongs in the Policing the Game Hall of Fame, right? For sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I just say about Ben Zobrist?
Yes.
Ben Zobrist?
Get into it.
If there is a utility player Hall of Fame, he belongs in it, but he does not belong. He
started it.
Yeah, you're right.
He was the tip of the spear. He's the vanguard in the modern utility player.
The modern utility player, not
exactly.
no.
But the
Yeah.
modern utility player, that is Ben Zobrist all the way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So he would be in the utility player Hall of Fame, but he will not get into the big Hall of Fame.
Okay. Interesting. He's such a good guy.
That he can get in the good guy Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He can be the good dude Hall of Fame. How's that?
Yeah, he's
We'll
a
put
good
him
dude.
there.
Yeah.
He's
There
not
you
getting
go.
in the big hall. Fernando Rodney belongs in the blown saves Hall of Fame. And Kendrys Morales belongs in the good teammate Hall of Fame.
So does CC Sabathia. CC Sabathia, and I think CC belongs. There's an argument for him being in the Hall of Fame, but if we're not talking about do you belong in the real Hall of Fame, like which Hall of Fame do you belong in? It's the hell of a teammate Hall of Fame. That's where CC.
I agree.
He leads absolutely. That crowd for sure.
The fact that he took a pay cut.
That's right.
To police the game. Maybe he also belongs in the Policing the Game Hall of Fame with Brian McCann.
100% agree. That would be. But CC has a Cy Young, 6-time All-Stars, career WAR 62.3, lifetime ERA 3.74. Brad. He has two now wins and losses. Don't come after me, I know, but 251 wins, 161 losses.
So let's talk about wins and losses for just a minute there, Brig, because there's a guy who I think on this list who I think absolutely belongs in. He said he thought he needed more work when he left his longtime team, but I submit that he does not. That is Felix Hernandez. All hail King Felix, right?
Right.
Yeah. I think Felix Hernandez deserves to be in, because he was unreal, absolutely outstanding for his time in Seattle. His time there was wasted, unfortunately. But this is one reason Felix Hernandez deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He changed the way we look at wins and losses. Because before with the Cy Young, it was like, okay, who has 20 wins? These guys have 20 wins. Look at their ERA, strikeouts, blah, 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 everything else. But with Felix Hernandez, it's like, well, no, hold on. He's got a sub-2 ERA and an under 500 record. What's going on in Seattle? Oh, that team can't hit. That's what's going on. That has nothing to do with him. Nothing to do with him.
For sure.
So I think the fact that he completely revolutionized the way that we look at pitchers' records, that we just are like, it's just a thing that's there now.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean a whole lot. It's just there. We keep track of it because we've always kept track of it. Just in the NFL, they keep track of quarterbacks' records. It's like, he had so little to do with that. Right?
For sure.
Because you got a whole other team, you got defense, whatever. And it's the same thing with pitchers, and they're finally realizing that now. I think Felix Hernandez is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Not unanimous.
No, he won't be unanimous. I stand behind that.
Because I think there are guys who think, like Felix did, that he had more work to do to get in. But I think enough guys are going to be like, yeah, the way that he changed the way we approach the game, for sure. And the fact that he pitched how many years on a torn UCL? Right?
All of them.
Most of them,
it feels like it, yeah. So he's also a Cy Young winner with a 6-time All-Star, right up there with CC. CC's career WAR is 20 points higher, but
because he played longer and was on better teams.
For sure. But King Felix's ERA is a few points lower. So from 3.75 to 3.42. So
look at what his ERA was that year that he won the Cy Young Brig.
Oh no, I see it. I see it right here. It's an astonishing 2.27. He had a 2.27 ERA that year.
And an under 500 record.
And he started 34 games, which is league leading. Whatever. What is lead leaguing? It's lead leaguing. That's what it's called from now on. It's lead leaguing. Saying,
man. And I know 1 year is not going to get you in, but that was pretty much on par for the kind of performance that Felix put on.
You ready for this?
That's
it gets better.
Got.
Okay, so that was his Cy Young year. Okay,
right.
He finished second in 2014 in the Cy Young voting. And that year, his ERA was 2.14 with another leaguing 34 games started.
So get this. So toward the end of that season, the Mariners went to Houston.
Right.
And Felix was in the hunt, right, for the Cy Young.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't remember who it was that talked about this. It might have been Logan Morrison was the guy who came out and talked about this.
Sure.
And he said, and you know what? We knew there was something going on across that other dugout. We didn't know what it was, though, because they shelled Felix.
Low.
They cost Felix Hernandez his second Cy Young.
Gold. Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to get into the rest of these names, but we have, and we'll do it another time, but we got to talk about Ichiro, because Ichiro, if he's not first ballot, I'll eat a hat. If he's not unanimous, it's because somebody's got a weird chip on their shoulder. And I will never understand why.
I saw somebody said that it's because whatever writer just wants attention. And I guarantee you that's all it is. It's like, I have blah, 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 blah with slap hitters. And he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because he was a slap hitter. It's like, oh, he was a slap hitter by choice. You want to see his power? Go look at the tape.
Yeah.
Go look at the tape. You'll see he had power as well. And he knew his job with that kind of speed was to get on base, because that speed is useless if it's trotting around the bases.
Yep. Well, and that's what the team needed,
get on base
was
and make things happen.
Runs. Right.
The Mariners won 116 games with him doing his job of getting on base and making things happen.
Yep.
As a rookie. It was like 30 games into his career, his batting average went up above 300 and never dipped down again. That will never happen again. I don't care who you are. We will never see that happen with the way the game is played now.
Nope.
Ichiro is absolutely a unanimous Hall of Famer. And if he's not, dude, this microphone is going to be like on fire.
Yeah. Oh, baby.
You kind of hope now, huh?
Yeah. Stay tuned for January of 2025, where Brad loses his absolute mind. He's going to hoist that black flag is what he's going to do.
It'll be over the shoulder, Brig, for sure. It'll be ready to go right up.
Yeah. All right, baseball family, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about 3 teams you get to hate.
Welcome back, baseball family. We're going to get into this next segment, and we're going to talk about 3 teams we hate.
Hate. Double hate. Loathe entirely.
That's right. And so there is a method to the madness here. There is a premise to this game that we're going to play today. And we found this on Twitter. I think it was still Twitter at the time when we found this, right? Or was it Instagram? Anyway, either way.
I don't remember.
We found this on social media somewhere. We thought it would be fun to do. I think it was back in July we found it. But here's the premise. You are allowed to hate 3 teams. The Yankees, a division rival, and rotating playoff opponents year to year. So, Brig, tell us first off, why do you hate the Yankees?
Okay. The Jacoby Ellsbury deal. The end.
There it is. That's the one. Okay. Well, and that's our show. So
yeah. No,
anyway, so Brig obviously doesn't hate the Yankees. Brig, why don't you start with your replacement for the Yankees, which I think we all know who it is.
Yeah, it's Boston. It's the Red Sox.
Right.
Super dumb.
And that's just because you don't have a choice.
I don't want another choice.
Yankee fan. Well, I'm just saying you don't have a choice as a Yankee fan that you have to hate the Red Sox. Could you imagine somebody comes in wearing a Red Sox or wearing a Yankees hat? Like, hey, nice. Go Yankees. Screw Boston. And they're like, oh no, I actually really like the Red Sox too.
You'd be like, rip the hat off, take it off. You don't deserve this.
My first question would be like, do you also like the Patriots and the Lakers and the Cowboys and the Lakers? Exactly. Would be my next question. Like, follow up.
Anyway. Are you from here, or do you?
No,
is baseball your second language?
Okay. Anyway, so instead of the Yankees, Brig obviously hates the Red Sox. So let's get into our next one. Yeah. Who is your division
what's your
rival?
Do you hate the Yankees, right?
Oh, yeah, I hate the Yankees. Of course I hate the Yankees. I am born and bred Yankee hater.
Contractually obligated.
I do have to say this, though. So there are 2 exceptions. First off, one, and I've said this before, that when the Yankees win, it doesn't make me nearly like viscerally upset as it used to, because you're a Yankees fan. I like when my friends' teams do well, as long as they're not obnoxious about it. If you start being obnoxious about it, I'm really, really going to hate the Yankees over it.
For sure.
But the other thing is, one of my dad's best friends from growing up pitched for the Yankees in like the mid '80s.
Okay,
So,
I have a
despite
couple of
being
alibis.
Yankee haters, we have like that tie.
Yeah, I have a couple of alibis as well, and maybe you can find the photograph while I do this. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Maybe.
The one from this July or August, I
Oh,
mean.
okay. Yeah.
Do you have it?
Oh, it's way back there, Brig.
Okay, never mind. So, baseball family, I grew up in a Red Sox home. My dad is a big Red Sox fan. So, while I hate the Red Sox as a team and an institution, I don't hate Red Sox fans. Okay, I just don't, and I need to make that very clear. And in fact, I love the interplay and the teasing and all the banter that goes with it, and I think it's so much fun. In fact, I have a Red Sox fan living in my home right now, and I don't have a problem with that, right? And when my buddy, I got another buddy, Mike Farnes, shout out to Mike Farnes, when he comes over to stay, I'll go through his luggage and find his Red Sox hat and switch it out for a Yankee
We
hat.
did that.
He
We did
knows.
that on TikTok.
Exactly.
Rivalries
That's
in
the
real
right
life.
way.
Yeah.
It's the right way to go. So yeah, I love it. The other two alibis I have are Dustin Pedroia and his bigness. Those are like, I don't care that they played for the Red Sox. I just love them to pieces. So love them to death. As
Good. Well,
baseball
Brig,
players.
that was like the perfect filibuster, because I have you covered right here.
You do?
Mhm.
I can filibuster. Just about anything.
I do. Yeah, that worked out.
Yeah, man. I got to go to Yankee Stadium this year with my dad for the very first time, and
That's the one. This is the first one that popped up in my feed.
That's the one, man. So you can see we're a pair,
Two peas.
Holding the Yankees logo in his hand with the popcorn bucket. It's the best decision my dad ever made. It's as close as he got to greatness.
I almost at the beginning, this got to be a serious show. You couldn't make me laugh. Often. There it is. We
Tough.
reached it.
I can't help you.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
All right. Okay, so do you want me to start with my division rival? The division
Please.
rival I hate. Okay, I feel like this is pretty obvious. I've made it this point a lot over the 4 years we've been doing this show.
Yeah.
And I hated them before everything with the trash cans. As a fan of an AL West team, I hate the Astros.
Yeah.
So much. And it's funny because we have a friend of the show who's a big Astros fan.
Two friends of the show, yeah. And they're big Astros fans.
Are big Astros fans, yeah. And I actually liked going on their show and giving them a hard time about it. But at the same time, they both owned the trash can thing. They're like, oh, yeah,
right? For sure.
So the guys on no redeeming qualities. But anyway, I didn't like the Astros before that, because it was one of those things where it's like when the Astros stunk and they were losing to everybody, they weren't losing to the Mariners for whatever reason.
Right.
And the Mariners had pretty good teams. 2016, they missed the playoffs by like a game that year, and they still just couldn't beat the Astros for whatever reason. I don't know what it was.
Well, and you can't.
Well, I mean, we know now, I guess.
Right. And we also can't get over not last season, but the season before. Like that 18-inning game.
Oh,
bro.
Yeah, because I could put them in the playoff team, right? The playoff opponent.
You could.
I'm not going to, because I don't want to double dip. But that 3-game series that turned into a 4-game series that actually was like
some of the best
couple pitches away from being a Mariners sweep.
Yeah, it was incredible baseball. Just absolutely nail-biting baseball.
It was the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay, Brig, I'm going to get a drink while you talk about your division rival.
Okay. My division rival, it's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. The reason, but I did struggle. I really wanted to put it together. I really wanted to come up with a thoughtful answer for this, Brad, and I'm sorry that it took me so long, but I think the favorite team to hate in the division is everybody else in the
Everybody.
They just don't. You just don't look as good from up here as you think you do. If you're down there and you're hanging out at eye level with your peers, you probably look okay sometimes here and there. But from where we sit up at the top, it's like I'm up here and I just see the top of your head, and it's just not as attractive as you think you are. I see the squatchy on the top of your ball cap might look okay. So we don't even worry about who our least favorite division rival is, because they all just so suck. They all suck.
So you're looking down from the top of your ivory tower and definitely not the standings, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Just making sure you weren't talking about
standing on a mountain of historical excellence. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Acceptable answer.
It's the true answer. This, I mean,
You know what though? I say all the time. Especially as a Seahawks fan. Like I live in Cardinals country, right? And people are like, "Oh, do you like the Cardinals?" Like, no, I hate the Cardinals.
Right.
How do you hate the Cardinals? They stink. Division rival. I'm a fan of another NFC West team. Same thing with I don't like the Angels. My wife is an Angels fan. I don't like the Angels. I don't like the A's. The A's can stink. The A's could lose 150 games. I wouldn't care. I'd still hate them. Right? I'll hate them when they go to Las Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're an AL West team. I hate the Rangers. I was
City.
so upset when the Rangers won the World Series break because they're another AL West team. Oh, makes the division look good. I don't care.
Yeah,
they're a division rival. I don't like them
because you're allowed to be bitter, Brad, and just like I'm allowed to be superior as a Yankees fan, is because we are superior. It's just not that complicated.
So you get to be superior as a Yankees fan, and I have to be bitter as a Mariners fan.
Well, yeah, that's a law. That doesn't. Just because you are a happy person doesn't change the law, Brad. There's gravity, there's the Yankee superiority, and then there's the string theory. It's all, they're the laws. String theory is a theory. I know. I don't know. I came up with that.
So is a law. So is gravity, technically.
Gravity.
No, that's a law.
It's a law now.
Theory became.
Oh man. Okay, give me your playoff. Who's your playoff?
So, for a long time, I'll be honest. For a long time, it was Cleveland. It was the Indians for a very long time because it took me forever to get over that 95 loss, right? But then I was kind of like, okay, the Cleveland's aren't the Indians. Like, they're not the Indians anymore. They're the Guardians, whatever. I don't hate the Orioles. That's fine. 97 was a great year for them, and I already hate the Yankees. So 2000, 2001, the only other team really the Mariners played in the playoffs was. And you know what? It's just kind of like stuck since the Mariners swept them in the wild card round a couple years ago. It's the Blue Jays.
Oh,
like I was kind of like, yeah, dude, the Blue Jays. Like I like Vlad, I like Bo Bichette. But like during that series, all it took was 2 games for everything to flip.
It flipped hard.
Like, I do not like this team, and I didn't like him in 2023. I picked him. I picked him to win the AL East, and maybe that's why, because it made me look bad with my pick. But at the same time, all year I was just like, once they started losing, I'm like, yeah, I hope they continue to lose. I hope they continue to lose because they deserve it. Yeah, because they were so unlikable during that wild card series in what was that now, 2022? So
yeah,
for now it's the Blue Jays. I'm hoping this next year it is somebody else.
Yeah.
But it will be the Blue Jays for now.
Fair. That's great. So my playoff team that I get to hate has been a moving target, because obviously Seattle was just
there's a history there. Yeah.
Unbelievable. That's my dark spot. It really is. And then Brad likes to poke my dark spot.
The Yankees went on to win the World Series the very next year. So
it doesn't matter. Okay.
And Brig, need I remind you that the Yankees beat the Mariners in the ALCS in 2000 and 2001 when the Mariners were supposed to win the World Series. I was set. I had my parents convinced. It's like, we got to order Sports Illustrated because we got to get the fan pack, right?
Yeah.
So, and then just because you're Yankees, it didn't happen.
Okay, so thanks for touching my other dark spot, because the next moving target was Arizona.
Right. Yeah.
And I hated them for years, and the stupid shilling and all the dumb. So anyway, I got really upset about all that for a while. And now I don't hate the D-backs, right? They got no beef with the D-backs anymore. It has shifted entirely to Houston. Of all the teams that the Yankees have ever faced in the playoffs, and that has now happened repeatedly, I will never get over that Aroldis Chapman home run that he gave up and where he smiled and oh, dude,
That was my
what
next
that?
thought, was that potentially Aroldis Chapman was your was your playoff opponent, despite wearing pinstripes that year.
The person I hate the most, the team I hate the most was Aroldis Chapman from 2017.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. But no, it's the Astros, and as we've talked about a million times, we know why. But here's my official position. As a fan of the game, I'm over it. Right? I'm not interested in
Right.
the trash can scandal anymore. I
Mhm.
don't care to bring it up other than contextually. But as a Yankees fan, I will never let that die, ever. It's never gonna go away because it's just burned a hole in the legacy, and I am still angry. But as a baseball fan, it's like, okay, we're moving on. Everything's fine. I wish they'd have got
Right.
hit a little harder, but that's it, right? But as a Yankees fan, if I get to hate a team for playoff reasons, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I get it, man. And is there anybody in particular, like, on any of those teams that you just are like, is like at the top of your list?
Like the hater, the one I hate the most,
Yeah. Yeah.
the player.
Yeah.
Oh, you had to ask me that.
So, and to be fair, like for
To be
context, like,
fair,
to be fair, it's not like personal, right? Like, not like I hate
oh
this
yeah,
guy personally. Like, I
no,
dislike all his Instagram pictures, and
no,
no, it's just like as a player,
he
a guy
drives me
that
nuts.
you, yeah,
Yeah, Alex Bregman.
yeah,
It just drives me nuts. I don't know why. He has every right to have a chip on his shoulder. He was picked number 2. He was the best out of college. I
he went
mean,
to
the guy.
LSU,
He went to
total
LSU.
underdog, right?
Yeah, total underdog. But I think he deserved to be the number 1 pick that year, and I think that he has played with a chip on his shoulder for a long time. It's probably not so much anymore, but it was for a while. But now he's turning around and maybe going to get, uh, you know, what's the politically correct term? Hosed by the Astros on this extension thing, or maybe going to free agency or whatever it is, and he's going to have another chip on his shoulder, like. So I'm becoming a little more sympathetic to Alex Bregman, but for the longest time until about right now, he's been one of the guys that I just enjoy not being happy with.
Yeah, and I get that.
Love to
Yeah,
hate him. Yeah,
for sure. So for me, for a long time, it was Jose Altuve. Like, there was nobody
for sure.
higher on that list, right? And I think we talked
Yeah,
about that in like episode 3,
yeah,
something like that, of this show.
yeah.
And he's still up there, but for baseball reasons, though, specifically baseball reasons, it's Yordan Alvarez,
Oh
because he's
yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah.
like, and it's because, and like, legitimately, Brick, I love to hate the guy because if he's not playing the Mariners, I'll watch every at bat because that dude is so captivating and so good, and I will
He really
revel
is.
in every single home run he hits. I'm like, as long as they lose, it's okay that he hits homers, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like when he plays the Mariners, I am just like a mess every single time because
Mhm.
like, it's going upper deck. You got to know
Yep.
it's going upper deck every single time because
He
that's
just
where he
kills you.
puts it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. He's a Mariner killer. And it's just like Mike Trout. Like, I love Mike Trout to death, but man, when he plays the Mariners, I'm a mess
Yeah.
because he's a killer. There's certain guys who kill certain teams, and those are 2 of them in the division. I'm glad Ohtani's gone because he was a third.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no doubt.
So,
I agree
but
with
yeah.
that.
Anyway, but baseball family, let us know. Remember, 3 teams. The Yankees. If you're a Yankees fan, tell us. Confirm with us that you hate the Red Sox.
You please let us know you're okay.
That's right. And then a division rival and a rotating playoff opponent. So
Yeah.
let us know, and let us know who your rotating playoff opponents have been over the years, right? Like I said, mine
Yeah.
was Cleveland for a long time, and now it's Houston. Or no, it's not Houston. Houston is my division rival. Now it's Toronto. It's the Blue Jays. And Briggs is Houston. But let us know who it is. Put it in the comments. Drop in the mailbag. We want to hear, and we would love to share some of these if we get some. So,
Yeah.
But baseball family, before we go, don't forget to follow us on social media. Like, subscribe, rate, and review the show wherever you can. If you're on the YouTube machine, drop a like down there and subscribe as well while you're here, because that helps us out more than you know. But until next time, thank you for joining us. We will catch you next week.